Today, in Module 5, we'll be learning advanced Excel functions. This module content will involve the purpose and advanced Excel functions. We'll be discussing using match and index functions. We'll be discussing index and match for flexible lookups. We'll also be discussing creating pivot tables and pivot charts. We'll be discussing applying the step-by-step approach to data analysis. Now, by way of introduction, as spreadsheets grow bigger, basic formulas like sum and average are no longer enough. When data becomes large, complex, repetitive, error-prone, advanced Excel functions help us to automate decisions, retrieve specific information, handle error properly, analyze large data on large tables efficiently. This module introduces match and index functions, combining index and match, if error and nested functions, pivot tables and pivot charts, and a well-structured step-by-step approach to data analysis. Now, what's the purpose of advanced data analysis? Is to automate complex calculation, to reduce manual work and mistakes, to improve accuracy and speed, to handle error neatly, and to create professional spreadsheets to analyze large data sets easily. Now, when do you use the match function? Now, what the match does, match finds the position of a value in the list. Let me use a practical example now for you. Now, let's say, for example, you have, let me organize the name here, names, let me put names there. Okay, okay, let me see. Okay. All right. Now, let's say I say John. The next I see Mary. The next I see Paul. The next I see Esther. Okay, good. Now, how do you work a match? Now, click an empty cell. Let's click an empty cell. Then, write match. Right? Don't forget, always start every function with equals. Okay, equal to. Then match. Okay, here it is. Match. Then click Paul. Match Paul. Okay, match Paul. You have to manually enter now. You have to manually enter. That's what it is. You have to manually enter. Okay, let's see. Match Paul. Okay, match Paul. Okay. Then comma A1. Okay. Okay, this will be this A9 to, or better still, start from this. So this is John that's starting from here to here. Then 0. Then enter. You can see. You can see the value, the result is 3. Now, what this means is that Paul is the third item in the list. That's what this means. So this match Paul from John to Esther, it means select the third in the list. That's what it's saying. So match does not return the value. Match returns the position. So what this function is basically saying is that match Paul from this to this is, that means you are asking it to tell you what position is Paul in this data set. That's what you are telling it. So what position is Paul is data set. Now, let's say I come here and I change this to Esther. and I enter. You can see what it does, 4, right? So it will return the position of the value you're asking it. Now, let's say I ask for Mary, for example. I ask for Mary, and you see it's 2, right? It's very, easy to do. Now, that's how to use a match function, right? Now, how do you do the index function? Now, let's use the same. For example, let's add another. Let's delete this function. I'm done with that function. Now, let me add another label to this. Let me call this scores, right? Now, I put John got 65, Mary got 78, this is 82, this is 90. Good. Now, click an empty space, right? Now, equal to index. So that's it there. Then select your value. This value to this value, right? Then write 3. Then enter. You can see why match give you the position, index gives you the details. So it returns the third value in your data set. So match will give you your numerical position, but index will give you the value of that position. So you are seeing that. So that's the difference between the match and the index. Now, how do you combine match and index? It's very important. It's more flexible than using VLOOK. Okay, I didn't really explain VLOOK, but this is easier than using VLOOK. Now, how do you do this? It's very simple. You go to that your same function that you have written, then clear this. Then use match, right? Then the same function you did before. Call, okay. Then from this to this, from this to this, then 0, then you enter. Yes. You can see what it does, right? It finds Paul's value and matches it to 3, as you can see for yourself. So let's say that, do that again. Index A7 to A10, then match Paul A7, A10, 0. Okay. So what it does is that its match finds Paul position and put it at 3. Then index returns the position to 3. It shouldn't be at this extra. Let me see what that is. It shouldn't be at that. Let me confirm that. Okay, okay, good. I've seen it. This wasn't supposed to be A, it's supposed to be B. It's supposed to be this value. Yeah. 2, this value. Showing you to this value. So A, this value to this value. Okay, let me see what the program is. Let me see what the program is. Okay. This, 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 okay, this, so this. Okay, good. So it matches the value of Paul to this. Good. Now let's go to the next function, which is if error. Now, when you use if error, If error is when Excel shows errors like the one I just did just now, like this, for example. Okay, there's an if error is showed just now. There's an if error is showed. Looking for something. Exactly. When something like this shows up, that's when you use the if error margin, right? Now, not found, if error, it shows this kind of message. Now, that's when you use this if error, right? So, it's very important to understand the if error. It's very, very important. Now, let's move on to the pivot. Let's move on to the pivot table. What's the pivot table? It summarizes large data sets quickly, very, very quickly. Now, let's say, for example, here we have students. We have students here. And here we have course. Here we have course. Okay. And here we have scores. We have scores. So let me copy the scores here. Paste here. Okay. So let's say Excel. Use Excel. This is Word. This is PPT. As PowerPoint. And this is Photoshop PS. Okay, good. Now let's say you want to use this. Now, click anywhere in this data. Go to Insert. Now go to Click Pivot Table. Then click OK. See this. See, this is a pivot table now. It has created. You're supposed to click now which you want. You can see that, right? You can see that. Good. So this has created a pivot table for you. You can see rows label. You can see it, right? This is called a pivot table. This is called a pivot table. So this is it. Now for this course, we have learned how to create. See, it took me to this to a new sheet. So this course, you have learned how to use some basic Excel function like match, like index, like if error, and pivot table. We'll be continuing this in module 6. Thank you all.